Right, hello. Hopefully we get some people on. So doing a stream. I'm not going to keep the gas mask on for all of this because the Riot helmet doesn't quite fit properly with the gas mask on. It fits fairly well, as you can see, but the sides of the mask stop the helmet going fully on. So I'm not going to have it on for the entire stream. See if anybody comes on then in a minute. Pressure check again. That seems to still be sealed. Right, let's see if anybody comes on. Hopefully it's not super late with the notification. I think it says there's one person on now, so we'll see if they turn up in the comments. Right, PJ Woodward. Yep, there's a video on this today, and there's a gas mask video on tomorrow. Let me do pop-out chat, because I can then enlarge the pop-out chat and have it more in the center of the screen. There we go, that's better. Yeah, I'll take the mask off now, just because again this mask's a bit too bulky for use of the helmet. So it kind of works. They both fit well enough, but so it's not going to be very comfortable. I have my glasses on as well if I don't have the mask on. But yeah, with a Riot helmet, you always have to have the sort of filter at the bottom because the side filter is obviously completely getting in the way of the mask, or a hose. You can have a hose obviously as well, but yeah, obviously that fits a lot better like that. Yeah, so there's a video on this today, a short, and then I've got a full-length like gas mask video on tomorrow, but I need to get around to editing that because at the moment I'm backing up some files on my PC, and that's taking ages because I'm getting an external hard drive and then putting them on that, you know, to clear a load of hard drive space because Windows keeps bloating in size of all the Windows updates, which is meaning like, you know, I'm running out of room on my C drive, so I need to fix that. That's kind of interesting, Alex saying, yeah, a bit of a coincidence. Yeah, all right, two-man sound. Yeah, this particular one, what I'm going to say is if you get any of these, this one's called an MLA Defender, but there is very similar to another Riot helmet I have called the Guardian Mark III. With both those models, you definitely want to get one that's size is bigger than you'd think you'd want, if that makes sense. So I think this one's about 64 centimeter head circumference, and normally I'm about 57, 58 centimeters on a cap, and this is still tight on my head. When I bought the Guardian Mark III Riot helmet, I got that in like my actual head size, and I had to like shave loads of the inside of the helmet off using a sander, like on, you know, like the styrene interior to actually get it to fit me. Because yeah, the problem is with a lot of these sort of Riot helmets is that for whatever reason, it seems like you need a much bigger size than advertised. That wasn't the case with the old Riot helmets, like the Argus Riot helmet, not Argos, but Argus. Like I reviewed years ago, they seem to be very good in terms of like they were similar to cap sizes. But for whatever reason, these more modern Riot helmets, you seem to have to massively upsize them. I don't know why, because it's, again, you know, it's based on a head measurement like that around your head, but they're always smaller than yeah, exactly. You can use them like a motorcycle helmet, can't you? Although I don't know about the chin strap on the crash, but yeah, like essentially a cycle helmet, motorcycle helmet. Yeah, like grinding, airsoft, Riot type stuff. The nice thing with this one is it's actually in really good condition. If I just take it off and show you, so although it was second hand, as you can see, the liner's not like damaged at all in it. There was no smells to it. There's a bit of like, you know, smearing on the visor, so I'll polish that out at some point. The most dirty looking thing on this one is just that bit, and that's where they've obviously just removed the police sticker that used to be on there and like the unit number. But in terms of actual you know, like condition of the helmet, this one's barely scratched up at all, which is nice, you know, so it's in completely functional working order. But yeah, so MLA Defender, And I said this one is size 640mm, so 64 centimeters. So in theory, this should be like 6 centimeters too big for my head, and it's still tight. So yeah, if you're ever getting a Riot helmet, always get one in, I'd say, a bit of a size bigger than your head. And then if it's a bit loose, put, like a woolly hat on underneath it or whatever. Yeah, it's a neck protector. So when you've got that on, the idea is that either stuff coming down like that, like bricks and that, don't directly hit your neck or your shoulders. And I think it's also like fire retardant as well. So if there's like a Molotov goes off on top of your helmet, it burns on top of that rather than, like burning your neck. Because that's also what the rubber bits do on Riot helmets like there. They're designed to stop any liquid that hits the helmet going down into your face. So say like somebody threw acid at you or like a Molotov. It's designed that like stops it going under the visor, and then it goes around the visor. Yeah, I think looking at this actually, the slight differences between this and the Guardian Riot helmet I had. So sorry, not Guardian. The what was the other one? No, this is the Defender, because this is the Defender, so it's the Guardian. I think the Guardian one had a slightly different shape to this side bit. Otherwise, these are pretty much identical. But yeah, like I said, this is comfortable. But yeah, if you get one of these, always go for one way bigger than your head size, because for whatever reason, these Riot helmets are awful for like not actually fitting your head, even if you think they should. And you can take some of the lining bits out, but still, you kind of don't want to. You want it all as it should be. Yeah, and obviously blunt force trauma as well, as Alex Saint says. But yeah, the idea is when you've got this on, let me just get this clasp. It's quite a decent clasp on this one that won't come off easily. I might actually, if that's not gone, yeah, that's gone. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, you've got that. So it softens impacts on your neck as well and stuff like that. And yeah, this visor is quite a big visor because obviously you can look down. It doesn't stop you looking down actually, this one, which is quite good, but it's below your chin, where some of them. So I guess this one's to stop somebody punching you in the neck. Yeah, the seller was really good. They did it on absolute next day delivery. So I bought it one afternoon. I think it was Wednesday afternoon I got it, and it came yesterday morning. But yeah, like I said, the main thing with these is if you get one, otherwise you'll be really disappointed. Make sure you get one, I'd say, that's at least 6 or 7 centimeters bigger than your head circumference. Just because I don't know what it is with the modern Riot helmets, but if you buy one based on your actual size, they're not going to fit you. Yeah, weirdly, Stu, I actually have an injury from one of my Riot shields the other day. I don't know if it's still visible, but if you can see a bit of it. There's a cut. If I get the, is it on that side of my head or that side of my head? It's mostly faded now. That's going to be too bright with that on. You can just about see it there, I think. But yeah, there it is. You can just about see it. I think the cut there. Yeah, that's from one of my Riot shields, because what I did like an idiot was I bent down to pick something up. One of my Riot shields was over there, and I went like bonk onto the corner of my Riot shield. Yeah, I've got all the Riot shields. So I've got the big plastic one here. That just fits in there out the way. I can't really get that one out because I've got other stuff stored next to it. I've got my round one. Like I said, this is the most practical of all the Riot shields. The round type one there. Because these are actually fast to move about. They're not too heavy, and they're going to give you decent protection from projectiles, but they're not actually, you can move around easily with them. But the one that injured me was the one I've still not got around to doing a video on, actually, funnily enough. I'm going to take my jacket off in a minute because I'm getting warm now. I'm standing up and I've got all the lights on. The one that I smacked my head into the other day was this one. So this is one this is like one of these Chinese style ones that I thought I'd order to see how good it is. This one's actually at least got the kind of polycarbonate or whatever it is behind that bit, so you've at least got some protection there. But this is like one of the aluminium style Riot shields, whatever it is. But yeah, I got my head on that bloody bit of it, so that really hurt, and it cut my head open a little bit. But yeah, the background's messy. But yeah, but like I said, these ones are a lot less practical. Yeah, Stu, if you get one, always I would say go for the round Riot shields, because I'd say they are definitely the most practical. Obviously, the bigger Riot shields are much better if you're trying to hold off a corridor or something. Yeah, you can certainly see that they'd be good if you bashed somebody with them as like a defensive thing. But yeah, the round Riot shields I've found are just the complete best ones in terms of, like mobility with them. Like if you actually had to defend yourself, from an incoming blow, or quickly bring it up because there's like something coming down on you, like somebody throwing a brick or a Molotov. The round ones you can move around a lot faster with, and they're not going to snag on stuff as much. Because I think the big tower ones are only really designed if you're moving in formation with them. So if you're like a single officer, or if you've got a load of officers spread out, you'd want the round shield so you can quickly, bring them up to threats, and you can still sort of shield wall with them. But yeah, the tower ones obviously are designed to kind of interlink, because a lot of them, that's why they have those like little curved bits on the side, like this one does there, where you kind of all link them together and make a shield wall. So while they're good if you've got loads of cops or whatever, like stood in formation with them, like bracing them up like a Roman, like tortoise formation, they're not very good if you're just trying to use it on your own, just because of how bulky they are. And like what makes them heavier, actually, when I've tried using them outside, is not necessarily the weight of the shield, but it's because it catches so much air. So if you try and move quickly, it does like the sail thing, where all the air catches on the shield. And then, you get a lot of air resistance when you're trying to move it around. No, the only steel Riot shield I've got, and that's probably like aluminium, is that one. Like steel Riot shields and like aluminium ones would work fine, but obviously bear in mind that polycarbonate is just better in terms of you can see through it, and modern like plastics like this are a lot, tougher. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I searched for, Stu, when I looked for those, because I have a feeling like when I searched Riot Shield on eBay, I could barely find any results. I'm going to have a look now. But I think I typed in something just like Police Shield or Security Shield to find them. So yeah, let's have a look. If I search Police Shield, yeah, there's loads of different Riot Shields coming up if you search Police Shield. There's also some like body armor inserts coming up as well. But yeah, like Police Shield's coming up with loads of results. If I try Riot Shield, let's see if that gets up good results at the moment. Yeah, some of the same ones are coming up under Riot Shield as well, but I don't know why it was before. Like last time when I did it, I couldn't find any of the round ones under Riot Shield. I think I had to just search for Police Shield or something. But yeah, if you get one, try and get one of the proper like UK police ones that's just in good second-hand condition. Because yeah, like I was going to say that obviously some of the Chinese ones are all right, but yeah, because like that metal one I've got is on there for like 65 quid, but I have a feeling it was way cheaper than that when I bought it from a Chinese seller. Like a lot of them are saying like old surplus army, Police Shield, but they're not. They're just like the brand new ones from China. Yeah, gas mask, yeah, paper and the sign, and I had a Fallout shelter sign somewhere. Yeah, I don't have them handy though, PJ Woodward. They're just in a completely different room in the container. Serge Watson said, I can't speak his language, but something about a video review of the masked Shalom 4A1, the Israeli ones. I don't know what else your comment's saying, but yeah, I have done a video on the 4A1 before, if that's what you're saying. Put it through Google Translate and ask me again. I can't be bothered to translate if I'm talking to other people. But yeah, like I was saying, the round Riot Shields in terms of practicality. Oh, and you probably want one with the two arm bits on as well, Stu. Like where you've got the folding arm bit, and then you've got, like, because this one has the hinging handles, which is really useful for like stashing it, like, to take up less room. And then when you're deploying it, you have those. Because some of them just have like the one big handle in the middle, but you can't obviously hold those as easily. Oh, and yeah, you can still strike with these like this. So yes. So with these, I know the police is obviously told not to do this, but you can punch with a Riot Shield, and it would obviously hurt somebody a lot, especially if you had one with a metal rim around there. But Australian items, I've got an Australian bayonet for my Lee Enfield. My Lee Enfield's old massive bayonet is an Australian one rather than a British built one. I think it's Lithgow Australia, the maker of the bayonet. I can see you said matey's question, Stu, but if you said something else, I think YouTube's hidden it. I'll tell you what, I'll put it through Google Translate myself, just because while there's not loads of things on. Polish M1, which one's the M1? Because that's not the I've gone about gas masks or what? Because the Polish all right, Rajiv? No, just I think some of the others were listed as Avon and Somerset, some of these, but that's a shame, Vegemite Warrior. But yeah, I think that's the same type I've got there. Right, I'll translate it myself then, and see what it says. But yeah, because at least then I can answer it myself. So you tested the military helmet. Could you tell me what model it is? Yeah, let me go back to the video then and see if I can tell you what the model is. Off the top of my head, I don't know. 4A1. Let's hope I can find the was it the Prepper Review on Shalom 4A1 gas mask, or I've got the rifle, like the SLR in the picture. Is it that one? Skip through the video and see if it was that one where I had a helmet on. Ah, yeah, the 6-minute one. That's a British Mark 6 helmet. So I'll type it in the chat for you. So yeah, British Mark 6 helmet at. But if you're going to get one of those, I'd recommend you get a Mark 6A. They're exactly the same helmet shape, but the Mark 6A has Kevlar filler, not ballistic nylon, so it's actually a much better helmet. The Mark 6 is a bit shit other than being used as a hard hat. The Mark 6A has actually got ballistic protection. Like, the Mark 6 has a bit of ballistic protection, but it's crap compared to similar things. So, Polish M1. Which one's the Polish M1? Because, again, you on about a helmet, a mask? Do you mean the MC one? The MC one is like a very, very basic civilian mask. Again, the only problem with that is it's GOST only. So again, even though the mask's all right in itself, it's very basic. It's using an obsolete type of filter. All right, Rajiv. Yeah, I haven't actually seen it do anything though for me. So this helmet be worn with Riot armor. So basically, if you think, well, let me get a picture up. Again, not all the UK police have exactly the same Riot armor and helmets because it seems to be, you know, like done on contracts. I'm just trying to get a picture up that's a decent resolution one. But generally, like stab proof and the one from the London riots in 2011 looks like this sort of gear. So this is a bit of a low res picture, but there you go. If the link works. That's the sort of helmet and gear they'd have. So it's kind of like you'd have a vest on that's designed to like soften impacts and probably be stab resistant as well. Then you'd have obviously a helmet. And normally I think they have like fire retardant overalls on as well. You know, like a bit like a boiler suit that's designed that if somebody throws something at you like a Molotov, the suit doesn't burn easily. What, were you actually rioting, Rajiv, or what? Just it was happening when you were around there? I can still remember those in 2011 when they burnt down that fucking furniture store and everything. Oh dear. Don't know if you want to admit that on YouTube, but whatever, you've done it now. Oh, not to that level. But yeah, so they obviously also have like the armored like glove things. I've got some public order gloves somewhere, and they are nasty things. They call them public order, but they're the public order gloves are literally like leather gloves with like some sort of chemical and like fire resistance built into them. But in the finger bits and like the knuckle bits, they've got this reinforced like really strong leather, which is designed so, you know, if you punch somebody, again, like it's officially not designed for this because it's the police stuff, but you know that's what they've designed it for. It's designed that if you punch somebody with the glove on, that, you know, it's going to probably not leave a mark like if they were hit with like knuckle dusters, but probably still break a bone or whatever, or beat the shit out of somebody. Yeah, Brody helmet, just 1-0. But yeah, World War One Brody helmets, Mark One helmets in Britain, and then yeah, the Yanks called them, I think, Brody helmets. And then they had them for very early World War Two, didn't they, like Britain, and then changed to the M1 helmet. Obrigado, what does that mean? Thank you. Let me have a look. If it's in Portuguese, the thing. Thanks. Yeah, that's all right. No worries. But yeah, British Mark 6 helmets. But like I said, the M Mark 6A is so much better than the regular Mark 6. Exactly the same like helmet and strap design. It's just that the Mark 6A has a different filler in it, so it's actually a better helmet. But yeah, these helmets obviously do not provide any ballistic protection. I mean, if there's a low velocity projectile, they would stop it, but not because they're designed to. They're basically the same as a crash helmet. So the outsides of these are like some sort of plasticky fiberglass material that's designed to crack under impact rather than your head. And the inside of it is like some special kind of polystyrene, as well as like all the liner material and that. That's obviously again designed to, you know, deform not your head. So it's kind of like a shock resistance thing, and the helmet's designed that, you know, these are the kind of helmets a bit like cycle helmets that they're designed once they have like a really bad impact to them, you don't keep using them. That, you know, because the helmet is designed to break itself rather than your head breaking kind of thing. There's probably countries that have reusable Riot helmets as well, but I guess they offer less protection because the idea with, you know, a lot of the Riot helmets is that they're designed to kind of a bit like some of the old ballistic plates that they like shatter essentially rather than letting something like the force of something go through them. I think they'd stop crossbow bolts and arrows that aren't like really high velocity ones. And again, the face shields are really good on these. These are like really tough bits of polycarbonate because they're made from the same stuff as the Riot shields. And those Riot shields, like we've tested them with loads of shit, you know, and there's stuff that I'd have expected to go through a Riot shield that doesn't. The War Emergency Guidebook, yeah, I've still got that. Can't get out right now because it's in a completely different room and everything. But yeah, I've still got the War Emergency Guidebook. Bobblehead. Look a bit like the security guards in Fallout 3 in New Vegas as well, like the Vault Tech security guards or whatever they're called, because they have like Riot helmets on, don't they? No, sadly, all the surplus stores near me have closed. There used to be a couple of good ones, and they're all closed now. There was one that did like army surplus and office surplus, so you could both get like, you know, army surplus from there and like, you know, desks and office chairs and stuff like that and filing cabinets because they did office surplus as well. They've closed. I think they might still sell stuff online, but they don't have a physical store anymore. And there was also, you know, like another smaller army surplus not too far from me where I bought stuff from before. Because sometimes if they had stuff on display, you could ask them, are you going to sell that? And they'd sell it really cheap, you know, just to get rid of stuff. But yeah, sadly, they've all closed just because they can't really compete physical stores that have to pay like high street money and all that with, you know, online retailers. Oh, it depends. If you mean the planning one, do you mean Protect and Survive? Protect and Survive, you can just buy anywhere. The War Emergency Guidebook, you won't be able to get because that's one of those ones where I only got it because my uncle was doing painting and decorating for a relative of the person in like that war planning group thing, and they're like, "Oh, we've got a load of old crap in the attic from when my parents were in, you know, like the war emergency government or whatever from the time." So that they're very, very rare. Those kind of things. It's like you'd have to find one either in a private sale or just know somebody that had one. Because again, they weren't for public consumption. They were just one of those things of, you know, like they were handed out like one to each person or whatever for the people that were actually on the war councils. No, the thing is, Stu, with it, it was really dangerous to try and test it, because the problem is with a lot of these Riot helmets, because they're kind of curved all around. I don't know how well you can see with this one. This one is a bit flatter on the sides, but a lot of them, because they're quite curved, they're really hard to actually shoot with a crossbow without a risk of the bolt deflecting really fast off of them. So with pistol crossbows, I tried that, and any of the pistol crossbows I tried didn't really do much damage to them. If you had like one of those really nice new pistol crossbows like Mike's got that are a lot stronger, and you had like a special tip on it, you might be able to do some damage. But yeah, with the big crossbows, I was always too afraid to like try and shoot them, not because I was afraid of damaging an old Riot helmet, but because, you know, like the risk of deflection and then a bolt just flying off somewhere and breaking something or hitting somebody was a bit too high. You'd need to do it in like a specific, you know, like corridor from behind a barricade, I imagine. You know, like in a concrete kind of corridor where all, you know, like where how they do like, you know, a bit like a range kind of thing, and then do it from behind a shield. So, you know, there's no risk that the bolt's going to fly back and hit you or like hit something and break a window or whatever. What's my favorite mask? Avon CT12 out of all the ones I've got. When I get the C50 eventually, because it's still stuck in transit at the moment, probably the Avon C50. No, the Cromwell Riot helmets, if you mean the ones that actually had that name, are the old Northern Ireland ones. And they're literally British Mark III to Mark V helmets with a Riot visor on them. Let me get you a picture up of what I mean. But they're literally the old army helmets normally. There's some that aren't that particular one that we used in Northern Ireland. But yeah, normally the ones that people call the Cromwell ones are these ones. Which are like, which is basically just, yeah, a British Mark III to Mark IV helmet, potentially Mark V as well. But again, Mark Vs are very rare, so probably not Mark V. So a British Mark III and Mark IV steel pot helmet, the standard infantry helmets. Well, if just put like, you know, a hinge on them and the kind of visor. So yeah, they were just, you know, like regular helmets kind of converted into Riot helmets. I think the Cromwell ones, when most people refer to those. Again, there's other like Riot helmets in Northern Ireland, just look like standard, you know, Riot helmets. But the ones I think most people are on about when they say Cromwells are the old infantry ones. Yeah, again, Vegemite, like that was the thing with our surplus stores. Some of the stuff there was really well priced. Some of it was really expensive. You kind of had to know what the stuff was actually worth, you know, to not get ripped off. Because in a lot of my local surplus stores, a lot of the gas masks, like a GP5, would be just as expensive as a much rarer mask. You know, they'd kind of, if they got gas masks in, they'd sell them all at, you know, like 20 to 30 quid, regardless of what the model was. So a GP5 would be the same price as when I got a BEM 4GP from one of the surplus stores near me. And again, the BEM 4GP is a much harder mask to find at a price point like a GP5. Balaclavas, as in what, like the cold weather ski mask kind of masks, they're all right. I mean, it's not the sort of thing I'd actually wear outside in the cold because you'd look too dodgy doing it. The only balaclava I've got is one that I actually normally have just rolled up and used like a woolly hat. You know, I know you can then roll it down and have it as a balaclava, but I never do that because if you're out in public, you do not want to be walking around with like some kind of, you know, like terrorist-looking mask on. But yeah, in terms of would they keep your face warm? Yes. But my favourite kind of cold weather sort of things are the combined neck warmer, face warmer things where you can pull them up and have them like that, or you can pull them up and have them, you know, like the neck sock kind of ones around your head like that. Yeah, balaclavas. But yeah, like I said, it's the sort of thing you'd never wear in public because you'd look like a terrorist or a criminal with it on. But yeah, in terms of protection from the cold, I'm sure they're effective. It's just that, yeah, there's other things you can wear that look a lot less dodgy that work just as well. Because what I'd often do is just wear the neck sock kind of one up to my nose like that, and then just put your hood up, and then it's like having a scarf around your face, you know, and it keeps you just as warm, but it looks a lot less dodgy if you come across somebody wearing something like that. But yes, Stu, like I was saying, that's the problem, isn't it? That with a lot of these, it's hard to test them unless you've got a really safe range to do it on because of just the deflection risk. Like I said, especially the Mark III Guardian Riot helmets, the main difference now I've looked at both of them, I've noticed between that and this one, is that was even rounder at the side, so you have an even higher chance of deflection. So I reckon with this one, yeah, if you put this, you shot it at a flat enough angle at the side, I reckon that you could get a good penetration test without much risk of a deflection. But yeah, on like the angles like that, they just literally bounce stuff again, which is good for the protection of the person wearing it. But yeah, it's kind of surprising how round some of these sort of helmets are that you can't always tell on camera. But there's not many straight angles on it. It's all like, yeah, other than that bit. Again, that's even like that bit there is round because it's actually really thick, the Riot helmet there. It's thicker than in some of the other areas because there you've got kind of, even where there's a flat bit, you've still got the curvature of the solid bit going round. Yeah, I've got some military boots, don't really wear them. Because again, for work, they're too bulky. There was a really good pair of army boots I used to have, which were, I think, either German or Austrian army boots, and they were really good. Like, one of the pairs of those lasted me like 7 years of a lot of use. And again, they were cheap boots for what they were. And, like, they'd outlast anything like Doc Martens. They were really good boots. But since those eventually worn down, I was never able to get any quite like it. And they were ones that I never really got on with. Yeah, I've seen Riot helmets painted all sorts of colours, actually. You can get them with quite cool designs on. Also, another thing you can see on these is some of them have a strip across here, which is anti-laser strip, where I think it's designed that, like, at your eye level in the helmet, you've got, like, a coloured strip on, which is meant to obviously stop laser pens from blinding you. I think you can buy those as separate things and put them on as well. But there's also nothing stopping you wearing, like, laser goggles underneath the Riot helmet anyway. But I've seen that's like a thing like lots of modern Riot helmets now do, is have the laser strips on. Send it back then if you've been sent a defective product. But yeah, with Riot helmets, funnily enough, I think you'd actually end up probably wanting a mask like this a lot more than a... let's just try this on quickly. It's got a bit of dust on the inside, so I'll just give it a bit of a shake. But yeah, I'd think actually with a Riot helmet, you'd much rather have a half face respirator on than the full one. Again, I know that's not going to keep tear gas out your eyes as well, but... That's pressurized. Yeah, that actually fits properly with one of these, so yeah. The strap you'd still have to adjust to get it under the chin bit of the mask as well, but in terms of actually being able to wear a mask with it, I think half face respirators obviously work a lot better than full face ones there, because you don't have all the top straps getting in the way of the helmet. Yeah, so that works alright. Anyway, I'll take that off now. I don't say Vegemite. I'll say I do cleaning and stuff, but I won't say more than that, just because I get weird fucking doxing people on here all the time. That, will then try and harass where you work to try and get you fired, because that's the problem if you do internet stuff. You get proper losers following you. I've got loads and loads of videos on that, PJ. A lot of the time, it's whatever the best condition, newest thing is you can get that you're comfortable wearing for as long as possible. Because obviously, if it's a mask that's really uncomfortable, you're going to take off as fast as you can. It's not any good. And you need to be able to get filters for it that are still in date, which is why a lot of the surplus ones aren't very good. Yeah, that's the thing, Vegemite. You wouldn't want it on for ages. I think that's why when I've seen the ones like where you see the cops with them, a lot of the time it seems like if they're wearing the full-on gas mask with the Riot gear, that's why they normally tend to have the military style helmets with then just the visors on, because there's a lot less, going on in the side of the helmet. Yeah, I know, Vegemite, that's the saying I can't say on here, because if I say, oh, I do this job, then, I bet you within a day my employer will be being phoned by saying, oh, that person that works for you has said like this racist thing online or whatever, you know, all that sort of shit. Because like I said a few years ago, I had like the people like making false police reports about me, and I had to like deal with the police and everything. So yeah, it's one of those things now where I don't say too much online because you get just too many fucking weirdos online that have nothing better to do than try and harass people because they dislike your opinion on something. Oh, is it a PMK mask then? Yeah. Yeah, so what I do need to do at some point with this is get like some cleaning stuff and get off where the sticker residue is from there, and just get like that little bit of, again, that just comes off of my finger, but you know, give all the inside and outside of that a proper clean to get this as shiny as possible, shiny and chrome. But yeah, this was surprisingly good second-hand condition, this one. The weakest point I think on a Riot helmet though would be that bit, like the little vent ear hole thing, because that's designed that, you know, obviously if I hold it up, you might be able to see if I can get the angle right. Probably really hard to show the angle on camera. Can I get the angle? Yeah, there, look. So what you might be able to see there, oh, that's the wrong one. See, you can see there, look, they let light through, so that's quite thin bit of metal there. It's designed to obviously stop something directly going into your ear or whatever if it lines up with your ear, but still let you hear through it. But yeah, that's the bit of a Riot helmet that I'd think would be most vulnerable. I definitely imagine a crossbow bolt would go through that, no issue. So yeah, that would be, if I was wearing a Riot helmet, that would be the bit I'd be really scared of. If somebody was trying to actually kill you through it, they'd go for that bit, you know, either with like a screwdriver type knife or again, it'd be very hard to actually land a shot there, but that's the sort of, I think, the weak point of Riot helmet. And again, if you didn't have that, then you'd just be a lot deafer with it on. So it's one of those situational awareness things that I imagine though you could probably, if you were really worried about it, cover that up with something else. I think there's 2 layers at least to that. I think after the metal outside layer, I think, oh yeah, this has got like a little membrane in it. So it's a bit like a gas mask's voice diaphragm. That, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so that's like a little bit of plastic with a metal mesh. So it's obviously designed to be waterproof and whatever. But yeah, that would be the bit I'd think would be the weakest point of them, these Riot helmets. Just keep them in well-ventilated rooms if you're ordered about smell. Yeah. If you start storing stuff in like damp outside, like cupboards and that, like sheds and that, that's when you need to be careful. In the house, none of that's really an issue. And I on purposely try and keep a lot of my surplus away from the room where the roof leaks every now and then. Because that's the one where I'll find, like, you know, if I've kept any of the Diak guns there, you know, I have to clean rust off of them, that room. But in rooms like this, if you had like a standard room in your house, you can just pile stuff up and it will be fine. Because, you know, it's air vent. As long as you don't spill water over everything or whatever, you'll be fine. The Chinese ripoff of the 6800, the 3M one, because that's again one that surprised me how good it was in terms of, like, you know, I bought it as a bundle. Because yeah, I got the Riot helmet on the skeleton. That fit. Probably not with this gas mask on. But yeah, kind of. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, the 6800, that's like, for a rip-off gas mask, it's made almost the exact same spec as the original 3M one. It wouldn't surprise me if 3M's factory in China, they just do a double shift where they make the, you know, knockoff ones on the second shift or a third shift, whatever you call it. Again, I really want to do a video on the Avon C50, but annoyingly, because that's a mask, I'm really looking forward to doing a video on it. It's the one that's getting stuck in the post as long as possible. Because that's a typical thing, that whenever I get anything that's really interesting, it's always the stuff that takes ages in postage. If I buy something that's not very interesting, but I want to do a video on it or whatever, that's the stuff that will come, you know, like, I'll get it really quick in the post. It's sod's law. As soon as there's stuff people are looking forward to and I mention it, I've got one on order. That's either when the order gets cancelled and I get a refund, or, you know, it's just like this one where it's just stuck in like loads and loads of postage coming from China. Knockoff scuba diver. I mean, it's probably just the masks design, isn't it? That panoramic masks design. But yeah, I always wanted one of those massive diving suits, but they're stupid money. And again, they're really, really heavy. Like the old sort of Big Daddy style diving suits, whatever you call them, like the pressurized diving suits, diving bell kind of things. What you can buy, and it's one of those things where if I had a load more money, I'd actually buy now because it's not silly money. It's like £300. Is the MiG-25 flight suits? There's a load of those with the flight/space helmet coming up on eBay for 300 quid each, and that's the sort of thing where I'm not going to buy it because again, I need to use my money for more sensible things. But that's the best price I've ever seen them for a MiG-25 flight suit. The really funny thing with those though is those diving suits is if the air pipe gets cut and you're at a decent depth, you get compressed to death inside the suit. Although I think that'd be a fairly quick way to go. It looks pretty horrifying. I think there's a Mythbusters thing where they show that. But yeah, that's the downside of those is like you don't get the bends or whatever going down in a suit like that. But if the airline gets cut, you don't just drown. You fucking implode in the inside of the suit. You look like what do they call it? Stockton Rush's little Titanic thing. Can't remember what he called it now. You end up like that. You just go internally. Well, you could reinforce the pipes, but what I'm saying is that's the danger of them. Is if anything punctures the pipe in any way from the surface to where you are, you implode. I know Vegemite, but like I said, there's other stuff I have to buy and spend money on. So again, it would take up loads of room. Again, that's the problem with like entire Riot arm things like that and all those is how much room they take up, entire things like that. Yeah, rather than exploding, you implode. Yeah, the Titan, that was it. So yeah, you end up like the people on the Titan. So 1 minute you're fine, the next like nanosecond or second you're just a red mush because it just crushes you inside of it. Yeah, atmospheric pressure is an interesting thing. Anyway, I'll be off now. I know I've not been on really long, but I've got stuff I need to do today. As I said, the annoying thing is I'm only part way through. I started it earlier, started it 3 hours ago, and it's still got 6 hours to go. All the files I'm compressing and then going to move to an external hard drive. So the gas mask video tomorrow, I will edit and do, assuming that all of this file transfer stuff I'm doing finishes at a decent time. Because obviously if this finishes close to midnight and it drags on and on, I'm not going to have time before work tomorrow to edit and upload that video. But if not, I'll get that done on Monday or whatever. But I'm hoping that in the next couple of hours, that thing finishes on time. And then, you know, I can get my videos edited and that. But yeah, fucking Windows constantly taking up more and more of my C drive. I think when I get a new PC, I'm going to have to get like a 4 terabyte C drive SSD just because of how badly bloated Windows is getting. You know, just all the stuff like that. Because that's the really annoying thing is where I originally had a C drive that was big enough to have Windows on at like 1/3 of it, and then 2/3 of that C drive I could have for games and things. Now I've basically had to take everything off of it but Windows, and it's still like slowly bloating up the entire hard drive. But yeah, like I said, at some point I'm just going to get a brand new PC, I think, because my CPU, which was cutting edge at the time, is a fair bit outdated now, because that's one of the things that you use a lot in video editing and stuff like that. I'm just going to get to the point where I need a new motherboard, need a new CPU, you know, and all that, where it's probably going to be just cheaper to buy a brand new PC than it is to try and keep, you know, cannibalizing parts and upgrading this one. Only thing I might not bother with is getting a new GPU, because I've still got a 3090 in this one. But that's the most modern thing in this PC. So, oh well. It's because they hire incompetent people compot that do spaghetti code. And it's also like planned obsolescence, isn't it? Where they know if they keep making a shitter and shitter OS that gets worse and worse with specs, that, you know, hard drive space to run it and like, you know, how much RAM and CPU power it takes and all that to run the OS, they know that they're going to force you to buy a new PC in a couple of years because you won't be able to run Windows on the old PC. Still amazes me that my dad's Windows 98 had a 1 gigabyte C drive on it. You know, like that, and that would fit Windows and loads of other things at the time. You know, and you're long past that where you could have like a Pentium 1 PC with a 1 gigabyte hard drive for Windows and then run stuff flawlessly in the background. You've now got this fucking, you know, overblown, horrible bloated OS that Yeah, cyber dystopia, exactly. Cyberpunk dystopia. Anyway, see everybody. Have a good day.